The galaxy had always been a sprawling, intricate web of civilizations, each proud of its history, its achievements, and its dominance. The Galactic Council, a body that claimed to represent all intelligent life, met regularly to make decisions that could ripple across hundreds of star systems. Over centuries, species rose and fell under its rulings, and its decrees were generally respected without question. Yet a rumor had begun to circulate that sent shivers through the human colonies and stirred unease in the council chambers. Earth, the birthplace of humanity, was being considered for exclusion. The first whispers came quietly, from emissaries who had attended the smaller, less formal gatherings of the council. "They say Earth's technology is primitive," one alien diplomat murmured in a dimly lit corridor. "They cannot possibly contribute meaningfully to interstellar affairs." Another voice, this one sharp and clipped, responded, "Humanity is unpredictable. They might upset the balance we have maintained for eons." By the time the official notification arrived, Earth had already mobilized its planetary defense fleets, not out of fear of attack but as a precautionary measure to signal that humans would not be passive observers. The notification itself was curt. Earth's representation at the next Grand Convocation would be conditional. If the Council determined that humanity had little to offer, it would be excluded from deliberations entirely. On the morning of the convocation, the Council chamber was a cathedral of glass and alloy, stretching miles above the Council floor, suspended in orbit around a neutron star. Delegates from 1,000 worlds gathered in clusters, each species arrayed according to age, influence, and strategic importance. Humans were a minor presence here. Only a single shuttle, small and unadorned, had brought the Earth delegation. Captain Elias Moore, the lead human envoy, stepped forward, his posture calm, but his eyes burning with intensity. He glanced at his team, engineers, diplomats, scientists, and strategists, all trained to handle not just negotiation but survival in the most extreme circumstances. Humanity had learned long ago that survival often depended on preparation more than diplomacy. The Council's presiding officer, a crystalline entity whose voice resonated directly in the minds of all present, began the session. "Earth," it intoned, "your presence here is under review. The Council has determined that your contributions are minimal compared to the vast civilizations represented. You may speak, but your influence will be noted but not counted." Moore's jaw tightened, but he remained composed. "We have been listening," he said, his voice carrying across the chamber with clarity. "And we have heard every comment about our capabilities and our significance. Today we will demonstrate what it means to underestimate humanity." A ripple of whispers spread among the delegates. Some were dismissive, others curious. No one, however, had expected what came next. The human team activated a holographic display in the center of the chamber. It unfolded into a three-dimensional map of the galaxy, highlighting systems rich in resources, strategic wormhole nodes, and planets capable of supporting advanced civilizations. Moore's finger swept across the map, pausing on a section that had been largely ignored by the Council. "Here," he said, "lies a cluster of systems considered unremarkable, unimportant, even invisible to your records. Yet within these systems are mineral deposits capable of fueling entire fleets, and planets whose ecosystems could support life not just today, but for millennia. Humanity has mapped them, studied them, and prepared for habitation if the need arises. We have not acted upon these findings, not yet, but the potential is ours." An alien delegate, a tall figure with translucent skin and multiple eyes, hissed in disbelief. "You expect us to believe that your species has surveyed regions we could not detect?" Moore's eyes did not waver. "Not just surveyed, explored, established contact, recorded. Humanity does not only observe, we adapt, we endure, and we expand. You may call it primitive, but what you dismiss as minor is a foundation for influence that your centuries of governance could never achieve in the same time." A murmur of approval rose from a few smaller species, those who had often been overshadowed in Council decisions. For the first time, the humans were not merely a curiosity, they were a revelation. The crystalline presider tilted its form in what humans interpreted as consideration. "Demonstrate your voice, Earth, let it be heard." Moore nodded to his team. Instantly, the chamber's communication network flickered, and signals began streaming from human outposts across the galaxy. Every human colony, every research station, every spacecraft capable of broadcasting, joined in a synchronized transmission. The message was simple but profound. Humans were not to be underestimated. Images appeared in every delegate's mind, fleets traversing star lanes at unimaginable speeds, colonies thriving on barren worlds and technological marvels that merged biology and machinery in ways the Council had not anticipated. Systems previously thought isolated and insignificant were shown to be integral to interstellar trade, defense, and survival. Then came the voice. Moore spoke once more, but this time the broadcast carried beyond the chamber, reaching every corner of human-inhabited space. We are here. We are connected. We are listening. And now, you will listen to us. Humanity will not be excluded because we are not invisible, because we are not silent, and because we refuse to be ignored. Every decision that affects our home, every policy that touches our worlds will carry our input, not as a formality but as a right. And make no mistake, those who doubt our resolve will learn the cost of their miscalculation. The room went silent. Not a single species spoke for several moments. Then slowly discussions began. Some delegates were defensive, some intrigued. Others attempted to dismiss the display as an exaggeration, but the data was undeniable. Humanity had not just survived, it had thrived. It had adapted to extreme environments, solved logistical and biological problems that the galaxy itself had failed to overcome, and built a network that rivaled the most established empires. Among the presiders, there was no need for debate. The vote was unanimous. Earth would retain full representation, and humanity's voice would be counted in all matters affecting interstellar affairs. But the humans did not stop there. They had come prepared for every possible scenario. Moore presented the next set of projections. These were not simply maps of resource distribution, but detailed simulations of interstellar diplomacy, conflict resolution, and crisis management. Humanity's strategies were unconventional but effective, often relying on adaptability, ingenuity, and a capacity for rapid, decentralized decision-making that no other species had mastered. The Council had spent centuries relying on rigid hierarchies and slow deliberation. Humans had shown that speed and flexibility could achieve far greater results. Some older species, those accustomed to centuries of unquestioned dominance, bristled. They had never seen a civilization rise so quickly, assert itself so decisively, and challenge the assumptions of galactic governance so thoroughly. They questioned the humans' methods, their audacity, and their willingness to confront established authority, but the data could not be ignored. One young species, a collective intelligence formed of energy beings, projected a question: how do you reconcile such rapid expansion with stability? Do you not fear overextension? Moore smiled faintly. We are not reckless. Expansion without understanding is folly, but knowledge, when applied with courage and purpose, creates strength. Stability comes from adaptability. Humanity does not simply grow. It learns, it adjusts, it prevails. The energy beings pulsed thoughtfully. Even they could not deny the logic embedded in the human approach. Slowly, other species began to ask questions, to engage in discussion, to understand the humans not as chaotic interlopers but as formidable participants in galactic affairs. By the end of the convocation, the Council's attitude had shifted. Humanity had not only defended its right to exist within the interstellar community, but had also earned a measure of respect. Not all were pleased, not all were convinced, but the message was clear. Earth would no longer be dismissed. As Moore and his delegation returned to their shuttle, the chamber's towering walls gleamed under the light of distant stars. For the first time in centuries, the humans had not only made themselves heard, they had reshaped the balance of power through sheer determination and clarity of purpose. Back on Earth, news of the event spread rapidly. Citizens from all walks of life celebrated not just the victory but the affirmation of a core belief. Humanity's voice mattered, because humanity would never remain silent in the face of injustice or neglect. The world had always faced adversity, climate challenges, resource scarcity, and geopolitical tensions, but now it had faced the universe itself and demanded recognition. The ripple effects were immediate. Trade agreements were revisited, previously ignored systems were explored with new vigor, and species that had once underestimated humans now approached them with cautious respect. Humanity had proven that being underestimated was not a weakness. It was an opportunity to demonstrate resilience, innovation, and unity. In the years that followed, Earth became a hub of diplomacy, exploration, and strategy. Human scientists unlocked technologies that bridged biological and mechanical systems in unprecedented ways. Human fleets patrolled previously unmonitored regions, ensuring St.